you're going to be talking about all the deep, dark things in the paranormal with him. So that'll be very interesting. So then the Inside the Upside Down, what is the premise of that?
Yeah, Inside the Upside Down is basically, it's like a after show of Edge of the Rabbit Hole. And, that was, it came about because everybody that watched Edge of the Rabbit Hole wanted it to be a 2-hour show. They loved it when we extended the show maybe to an hour and a half or what have you, if there was a guest that was okay with that and allowed for it. But Vanessa can't really do a 2-hour show every night. So I came up with the idea, well, why don't I just do a second show? And so it's like, how do we create it as an after show? Stranger Things had just kind of come back on. So it's like, all right, so let's just pick a paranormal or supernatural topic, and we'll just dive down into that one particular subject. When it first started, it was just me, and now that I've moved in with Shauna, or we've moved in together, she's joined me on that. But it's kind of like, we dim the lights and put the blue lights on, kind of like the Upside Down is blue on Stranger Things. And we take it, like I said, we take a topic and we just run with it. And a lot of times that show kind of goes in the direction of the chat rather than with Edge of the Rabbit Hole. We're going more in the direction of the conversation with the guest, and we take all kinds of questions from our viewers, but that one's more geared toward the guest, where, with Inside the Upside Down, we'll start on a particular topic, and the viewers that are in the chat kind of guide that show with their particular questions that they have.
I know that when I've seen it's very thought-provoking.
Well, thank you.
So makes you really think about what you're actually saying, not what my next question is going to be.
Well, that's good.
Because for a lot of the people in the paranormal, when they're listening to these shows, they're thinking about what their answer is going to be and what question they want to ask. Sometimes they're not always listening to what's being said.
Right.
So we do have a question for you. Let me close this down. Oh, darn it. It just went away. Give me a second here. It's from Kat Gash.
Oh, hi, Kat.
So she says, give him a big hi from her. And where was the scariest shadow person you've seen?
Oh. I love those questions. The scariest questions. Because I really haven't been scared of much since I was a kid. And so I'll have to say, the scariest one for me was that first interaction, because I was scared out of my mind. Because I was like 8 or 9 years old, and I wasn't thinking shadow person at the time. I wake up and there's what looks like a person, but it's all black, standing in my room, and I'm thinking it's an intruder and I'm about to be murdered. And that didn't happen, of course. I'm still here to tell the tale. And it did physically interact with me, which of course was extremely scary for somebody my age. I was so scared that I, opened my mouth to scream, and I couldn't at first until it was finally gone. And, I was able to get up and run to my parents' room. So it would have to be that one as the scariest. But looking back on it now, I don't know, other than shock, I guess, if there was much to be scared about, because it didn't actually hurt me.
It's always amazing when it doesn't hurt you. But then you're shocked as hell when it does hurt you.
Right.
So, for those of you in the chat room, welcome. For anyone new that's joined, I've noticed that Don just joined. For those of you wondering, Ron is my husband. Asking in the chat. I can't keep up with the chat typing and listening, so I just answer the question. So, Ron also will answer some of the questions if he knows the answers in the chat room, if they're directed towards me or him. So just be aware that if he's answering, he's probably answering for both of us. Okay. So So just be aware of that. So, and Carl from Caldwell County Paranormal, he asks, what's your best evidence?
Oh, there's some interesting evidence. I've gotten white wisps at Stone Line Inn. I have actually caught a shadow person on camera. That was at the Campbellsville Grade School. I'll say that as far as like one place that I've been able to collect like maybe the most evidence would be that Campbellsville Grade School. Between the disembodied footsteps, ton of EVPs, we caught a shadow person on video. We caught an apparition on video. When we were trying to debunk the apparition on video, there was a pebble that was thrown out from the basement area down there. So a lot of interesting stuff at that particular location.
I also have a comment for you. Mike and Vanessa's show is one of my favorites. Real peeps who love their followers.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much.
This
That's
is from
one of your
Dawn.
favorites.
This is from Dawn.
Okay. Thank you, Dawn.
So, and she says, I like them because they just don't talk about what they're interested in. They want to hear from the audience and they encourage it.
Absolutely.
So there you go. There's you some positive feedback. So, and that's how I like this show to be. This show is about you, the guest, and the listeners. I don't care about me. I'm not important here. I'm just a facilitator. So that's why I say, if you guys have questions, please ask them. So here's another question from Rhodey. She asks, can Mike tell us any history of Ouija boards? Maybe we should wait until after the break, because I don't think you can do that in less than 3 minutes, can you?
Maybe not.
So Rhodey, we'll get back to that one in a couple minutes. How about, can you answer this one in less than 3 minutes? Has he ever caught anyone trying to fake activity during investigations and events? This is from Jennifer and Kevin Malik.
Yeah. Oh, great to see them there. I'm going to be on their show soon. Yeah, that's happened. Sadly, from like homeowners that we've gone to investigate, and they've had legitimate paranormal activity going on, but then they'll try to fake something almost to make it seem like there's even more going on. And like one that stands out was, one particular house, we were getting some mild activity going on. It was like right around the time where we had taped the show for The Haunted. And it was almost like maybe they were trying to, get on a show or something like that. And they showed us, this photo that we knew it was done with a ghost app, because we'd seen it before, and it was like, that's really a shame, because you have something going on here, and now we're done. Now we're just done with the investigation, because we can't take anything that you've actually told us or anything that you're going to tell us going forward as truth, which was sad, because there was activity going on there. But if they can't be honest with us, then we're out.
Right. That is sad. I've seen people fake stuff too, and it just irritates the life out of me. So, and it does take away credibility, not only from them themselves, but from the next person that you might run into. It makes you skeptical of the next person.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not completely skeptical, but at least enough to go, it's happened before. Is it going to happen again? It just makes you more leery of them. So, well, everyone, we're coming up on our next break. This break is going to be, no, we're not yet. I think our break is at 43. So we actually got 4 more minutes. So see, I'm not even paying attention. So it's Monday, and I've had a long day. Today is actually my first day back to work full time since all this stuff has happened. So just trying to keep myself going. And then I didn't even get to work full time. I had to go to the doctor. So let's see what other questions we got here. But Rhodey, we will definitely get your question asked. Ask Mike who his man crush is. This is from Chuck Banks.
Oh my God. You're the man, Chuck. You the man.
We all have a crush on Chuck Banks.
Right.
All of us. Everybody in the paranormal loves Chuck. So, let's see. Gary from Caldwell County Paranormal asks, where'd it go? Has he heard footsteps from a shadow figure?
Have I heard footsteps from a shadow figure? I have to think about this. I don't necessarily think so. I mean, well, no. The one at Campbellsville Grade School, we did keep hearing some noises across the gymnasium, because that's where we saw it. It was over by the doors to the locker rooms off the gymnasium there. A little hard to tell as to whether it was footsteps or just kind of natural, popping of the wood, that was there on the gymnasium floor. I've had, like, last year when I was presenting at Ocean State Paracon, Carl Johnson threw me a question, asking about shadow people's voice. Do they have a voice? And it was an interesting question because nobody ever asked me that before, about if they have a voice. And so I had to stand there and think about it for a second. It's like, you know what? I don't ever recall, hearing a voice of a shadow person. And so we kind of discussed it afterward. And it was like, they pretty much seem to be mute, very, very silent, very, very quiet. So as far as footsteps, I mean, that could be one of those features as well, where, they're just very quiet, naturally, no voice, they move kind of silently. So it's one of those interesting aspects of shadow people.
Oh, excuse me. I think I've heard steps from a shadow figure as well. So it's very strange when you do, because you would assume that it's a shadow. It wouldn't make any noise.
Yeah, well, I'll say, the one that I saw just dart across the kitchen here's one. The one that I saw dart across the kitchen at Johnny V's restaurant in Muskogee, Oklahoma. It didn't make any, like, running sounds or anything like that. It was almost like just a wisp, it was like barely a shadow, but it darted across. It slammed into the swinging metal door. And what was interesting about that is that flimsy little swinging metal door didn't move, but you clearly heard it bam slam into it, which I have an audio recording of, unfortunately no video. But that's, so it did make a noise, just not the running, not steps, but going through the door, yes. Well,
that's going to be an interesting note to take a break on. So we will be back with Rhodey's question about Ouija boards in 2 minutes. So thank you. And you're listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama, and we'll be back in 2.
You're listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, the best in paranormal talk, only on Paranormal Experience Radio, broadcasting live out of Birmingham, Alabama.
It's okay. I was just making...
Thank you for listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. The time is 45 minutes after the hour.
Welcome back